At UTS, our teachers have been actively experimenting with inquiry-based pedagogy for some time. Some more than others. Some have tinkered around the edges of their more traditional practice, and others have jumped in wholeheartedly and then reviewed the results, reflected on what worked, and what needed to be revised. No matter what their comfort level with this change, all of our teaching staff have recognized that in an inquiry lesson, the teacher must move off of the stage. They need to prepare up front for students to enter a space where they can take the lead as inquirers with the teacher as a guide and facilitator.
In an inquiry lesson, teachers orchestrate classroom discourse through the discussions they prompt, but this discourse happens in pairs, small groups, and spontaneously as a whole class. This type of learning environment is considerably more complex than the traditional lecture. Teachers must make more decisions up front. For example, they need to decide what resources to prepare and provide, what groupings and for what duration, what questions and tasks to pose. Additionally, they must consider what assessment tools, both formative and summative, to provide, and how to develop these with student input. They need to consider how to phrase feedback that will be meaningful to the students, and when to provide exemplars, and what type of exemplars should be provided. Indeed, this form of teaching can be much more challenging than the traditional stand and deliver class. When using technologies as tools throughout the inquiry process, it is important to test drive the applications to ensure that they not only work for students, but that you as a teacher know what the students will encounter on their learning journey. One of our teachers, who uses serious games on a regular basis, discovered that in following the course of the game, students were exposed to accurate and authentic material related to life in frontier mining communities. The sensitive nature of some of this material meant that prior to the class, he contacted parents and prepared students for what they would encounter.
Use of the internet and platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram need to be considered carefully. What boundaries or rules need to be established, not only to protect and guide the students, but also for the teacher? Teachers need to protect their privacy. For example, by setting up a separate school Facebook account, they can interact with students using that medium and yet protect their personal lives.
Students often find it challenging to comprehend that what they post online often has permanence. Teachers need to engage in discussions about the risks of sharing personal information, photos, etc., and establish guidelines with their students.
As a school leadership team, we update our acceptable use policy yearly to take into account the changing landscape of technology and software. We also rely on our students to alert us when they feel uncomfortable. Rather than lay blame, we work with our students to help everyone in the community to stay safe and create a learning environment that permits us to take into account the full scope of opportunities while not exposing ourselves to unnecessary risks.